Roy, I said you'd be glowing today, by the way.
Oh, because the win in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roy, 8 a.m. Roy is never glowing. He could come in having just left a nuclear plant, a radiator that was spewing things that would make him glow. And Roy's powers, if the 8 a.m. mood would overpower them, and he would never be glowing.
I'm in an okay mood right now.
Yeah.
Roy, your Panthers straightened it out. You applied some expectations to your Panthers, and they straightened it out. And they've won, is it 3 or 4 in a row?
They've won 4 in a row. They lost 3 straight at home. They have bounced back. They did what they had to do those final 2 games of the 5-game homestand, and then a big W over the Penguins last night, Dano.
They seem to fix their road roars because they've won 10 so far in the calendar year right now on the road. So, yeah, they've seem to have fixed it, and they have gotten much, much better.
They have these weird moments, though, in some of these games where they let the game get away from them really quickly. Last night, they conceded 2 goals in 9 seconds. And this has happened before. Like, I feel like several times this season, it's 2 goals in a minute when they're dominating the game for 25 minutes. 2 goals in a minute, they're tied 2-2, and they just are so good offensively. They just turned it around. Their team total lines every night are 4.5. With juice as well. Like, they're minus 120 at 4.5 to hit the over. Like, the goals that they score every night are insane. Like, if you want to make money on them, it's almost impossible.
Is there any way to win all of the games you need to win to hold up the championship when you go into the playoffs as one of these super interesting teams that you just say, I don't get it. They allowed 2 goals in 9 seconds. And the people who are playing the Panthers are like, I don't get it. Why, when we play the Panthers, do they score 2 goals in 9 seconds? And like, can that team win? Because I think your defense needs to be a little bit better than that. Everything I know about playoff hockey is that you have to be quite the fire hose offensively in order to win that way.
Well, they actually do have an excellent defense. I mean, they're pretty good. But as you said before, it's goaltending. But Bob's been playing well lately, and Spencer Knight, who's just been demoted back down, he's been loaned back to the AHL. He's gonna end up back on the team. Yeah,
wasn't he the future last year?
He was the future. Yes.
Wait.
No.
He was
loaned to the minors.
Roy, you muttered and you hid in the shadows, and Billy seized on it because whenever there's fear, he's like a dog. He smells it.
I'm just trying to learn here.
It's not because of
Wasn't
performance,
that guy the future is the correct question to ask. You guys told us last year that he might be the one carrying them through those playoffs, and now you muttered, and also Spencer Knight's not here anymore.
No, it's not because of performance. He's just been loaned. He'll come back up.
It's a roster space situation where they needed forward because Anton Lundell just got hurt, and so they need another forward. So they clear a third goaltender roster space with the guy they can send down to the
You don't treat Patrick Waugh that way.
Seriously.
You know what I mean?
He's like 21. He's like 21. He'll be fine. But also, I think we were a bit premature last year with Spencer Knight. That I will 100% grant you because he's had a very up and down second season. And Sergei Bobrovsky's been flatly better than him.
Thank you for 100% granting it. Like, so often around here, what the granting is like 44% granting.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you've granted me 100% that you and Roy got carried away last year telling us that it wasn't going to be the Lightning holding up the trophy, that it was going to be Spencer Knight.
I mean, you also have to remember, we were at a very desperate time during last year's playoffs against the Tampa Bay Lightning when no one can keep the puck out of the net.
Right.
Who was it was Bobrovsky. Who was the other guy? I've already forgot. Drieger. He conceded like 100 goals in a playoff game. It was a dire goaltending situation. So when Spencer Knight came in, it was merely okay. It was like, the future is here. But, it takes time. He's like 21.
He's still the future.
He's still a future, but the present is Sergei Bobrovsky's.
Billy, what do we have to do to lure you in and get you to
I'm in, man. I'm all in.
He's watching all the games, Dan. What are you talking about?
We were talking about
How could you not be in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, are you in?
Yeah,
I'm not quite in yet.
You're not there yet?
No, I'm not in yet.
How do we get
Let's
you
get in the division again.
It's everything you'd want, Dan. It's a team that scores a shed load of goals.
Yep.
83 points in the East. Yeah.
237 goals this year. Top of the league in goals scored. However, as you mentioned, 14th in the league in goals conceded. that's probably going to be a problem at some point. However, in the interim, they play a 4-3 game every night at minimum.
If they don't win the Stanley Cup, it will be because of goaltending, right? Not because of offense. That will be the reason. If they don't make it or win the Stanley Cup, it will be because of goaltending, right, Roy?
Yeah, most likely, unfortunately.
Yeah. Huge disappointment of a season, too, if they don't win.
They have to get there.
They have to. No,
they
have to win.
At least
They
get
have
to the
to win
final.
it?
They have to win.
Wow.
At least get to the final?
At the very least
win.
get to the final.
In the same conference as
At
Tampa.
the very least.
Yeah. Wow.
That's how good the
70,
team is.
Carolina's
At the very
awesome.
least. Yes, they
Tampa
are.
is awesome. Like, it would be totally acceptable.
And the Panthers can beat them.
That's right.
I guess we don't become a proper hockey town until we actually hold our team to some standards.
Lord Stanley.
Like for me, everything with the Panthers is gravy because they've been so bad for my entire life. That's like I'm just enjoying the fact that, first off, I know what good hockey is now. Like when I watch hockey, I used to never not know. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
What distinguishes good hockey teams? I used to never have a frame of reference for it because I didn't know the Panthers to ever be good.
Whittingham is 28 years old. When he was old enough to retain memories, the 25 years, he's never known what it looks like to look at hockey that you just know is good, that you know your team is good because he was only watching Panthers games in hockey.
I don't know yet. We got to do it in the playoffs, do we not?
They have to do it
They
in the
have
playoffs.
to do it in the
Yes.
playoffs.
But they
They
dominate
have to.
teams
Roy-
night in, night out.
No, wait a minute. You guys, Roy, you just got in. I heard it. I was here, and it disoriented me. At the very least, this team has to get to the finals.
That's right. I said it.
Yeah.
They have to get to
But
the
at
final.
the very least means that anything beneath that is a failure for a team that has only done, we never win anything.
You get
This
it.
is a once-in-a-generation offensive team.
Correct.
Like,
Tell him,
they
Roy.
have-
He's not in, Roy, so
He's
tell him.
not.
Go
They
ahead.
They have
Right.
to, now, playoff hockey is a beast. You're going to see a lot of 2-1 games, but this team can actually do it.
That's
I believe
right.
they can actually do it. So at the very least,
I don't know what to believe. A week ago, Pete Carroll said there was no intention of trading Russell Wilson. Put his name on it. That was a week ago. A week ago, you guys told me, I'm scared. The Panthers have lost 3 of 4. I don't know what's happening here. I'm scared again, and now you're back.
No,
They
the
went
sky was
4 in a
falling.
row, and now you're swaggering all over the place, and it's at the very least the finals. Like, you guys are emotionally swept.
Well, they had a 5-game homestand, and those 3 losses were concerning. They were Nashville, Columbus, Edmonton. Those are teams they should beat at home. They lost those games. People started to get concerned because, Dan, no one trusts the organization. That's
no one trusts.
I mean, no one trusts that this team is that good, but this team is that good. They should make it to a Stanley Cup.
I'm kind of expecting, like, can you imagine Pittsburgh Penguins fans? They actually care about hockey. They get to the arena. I saw a TikTok the other night of some Buffalo Sabres fan that was in our arena that was like an hour before puck drop, and it looked like a sad, empty convention center in the upper deck of the Florida Live Arena. But so I'm imagining these Penguins fans showing up to the arena and being like, wow, this team is incredible. Like I imagine every time they go on the road, there is a group of stunned actual hockey fans that the Florida Panthers, a ticket they would have completely disregarded for the last 20 years, is like, wow, can't wait to see them. They're going to kick our team's ass.
You mentioned a TikTok. This happened to me, I'm not kidding, 3 times this morning before I came in here.
Oh, no.
3 people said to me, I can't believe that Chris Cody was able to do that on that TikTok.
Oh, the one where Chris goes dumb, right? That one?
The skateboard. Chris Cody and the skateboard. I don't know if it was tweeted from our account or what, but a full flip. 3 people thought that our account was sending out that Chris Cody had done a flip on a skateboard and said while shirtless, this is the peak human body.
Oh, yeah.
And
It was rollerblades,
there's nothing
Dan.
you can bleep and do about it. 3 different people before I came in thought that looked so much like Chris Cody that Chris Cody had done a flip on a skateboard.
We have a TikTok?
It wasn't our TikTok. It was somebody else's TikTok that's sent to the show, but it's a shirtless, bigger fellow who's on rollerblades, and he does a flip with his hands in his pockets, lands it, kind of looks at it and is like, this is the peak of human performance. And it's Chris Cody.
I have fire I want to play with. I think that looks more like Cortez than it looks like
Oh
Chris
my
Cody.
Wow.
my God.
Look
That's
at
not
it-
fire you want to
Look
play
at
with.
it right now.
That
Tell
is
me
not-
that doesn't look like
Billy,
Ryan Cortez.
Billy,
I
how
got to tell you, when the close up on his face, it does. It looks a bit like
See what
Ryan
I'm saying?
Cortez.
It's
Yeah.
Cortez.
Oh,
Billy.
man.
If they had a child, that would be it.
did you enter this by saying that you did not want the flames of Ryan
Well, he
Cortez, and
gets
now
mad.
now you've invited them?
He
But I
does.
didn't mean to. It was a compliment.
That's
It
not
was?
a compliment.
Yes, it was.
Billy.
He looks like this person that's gone viral. Isn't that what people want nowadays? Look, if anyone wants to go viral more than anyone I know, it's Ryan Cortez. Okay?
Yeah. He's not wrong.
Thank you.
The point
He
is,
looks like someone that went viral. That's all.
the point isn't to go viral and looking like that, which is the
I
reason.
can't do
Like
that.
what?
I can't. Yeah, like what?
What's
I
the
can't
matter
do
with
that.
that?
I'm
Right.
fully happy to go here. I can go here happily because this is the one space where I have immunity because fat shaming people is no longer something that's allowed. But I'm allowed to do it because you guys have been doing it to me for 25 years.
What?
When Chris Cody does the flip shirtlessly, the reason that went viral is not just because it's amazing to see someone in that shape do that, but it's also amazing to have the arrogance of someone who looks that physically funny saying to a camera with swagger, this is the peak of human body perfection and there's nothing you can bleeping do about it. And people thought that was Chris Cody. And I'm like, I've never met that confident of Chris Cody. And if I took his shirt off, he certainly wouldn't be that confident.
and deliver the line without any hitches.
Chris Cody won't get into a pool without his shirt on. Like, you guys will never spot Chris Cody with his we will go the rest of our days as a show without any of you seeing Chris Cody with a shirt off.
If you took his shirt off, there would be another shirt under it. That's how bad it is.
And, Roy, you've seen it. There is no circumstance, and maybe Sheets and Giggles can pay to do a striptease, a sensual striptease, where how much would it cost to get Chris
Oh, he
Cody's
could be
shirt
bought.
off?
He could be bought.
He has been bought. I mean,
Who would this content be for?
Everybody.
That's what I'm saying.
It's for everybody.
And nobody.
I admire that guy from that TikTok showing up to a rollerblade / skate park, ripping the shirt off, and just prancing around as a top level rollerblader. Like, because you would presume that that wasn't the first and only trick that he did without his shirt off. He didn't just show up, do the one trick with his shirt off, and then immediately
Billy,
hide and put his
I
shirt
think
back
he-
on.
I think he didn't fail without a shirt on because we'd see the scars.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any scratches on him. That's a dangerous game.
That's what I'm saying. Is like he's used to doing that.
Yeah.
Like
Billy-
he goes for it, no
Billy,
problem, with
I-
confidence.
I thought when I started to watch that video,
was
given the
me.
size of the person and given that his hands were in his pocket,
yeah.
I thought that I was tuning into somebody hitting their face on the ground. I thought that I didn't know what I was going to be watching here, but I thought if it had gotten seen by that many people, it has to be a disaster. But no, it's to laugh because Chris Cody impressed people with an athleticism that they did not know he had inside him.
Or Ryan Cortez. I mean,
Then there's the tattoos also. That's a very Ryan Cortez thing, not a Chris Cody thing.
yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We're focusing on the negative. Let's just celebrate that he landed that flip. I couldn't do that flip. I couldn't even go down a ramp in rollerblades without falling and eating it and breaking
When was
my
the last
shorts.
time you had rollerblades on your
When
feet?
I had to do it
Here.
for punishment, and
Yes.
I was an idiot and thought, let me honor this and not walk to the studio. Let me wear the rollerblades to the studio, but I can't go downstairs in rollerblades. And I was at the top of a ramp, so I went down the ramp in the garage. We've been over this. I fell.
I just wanted you to say it again.
Someone across the street filmed me falling as I was getting here. It was a mess. It was a mess.
Do you guys know how Stugotz greeted me this morning? This was by way of good morning. It's the words that I got instead of good morning.
What happened?
Can we knock it off with Evan Turner being an NBA star?
I'm sorry about that.
That's your newest Meadowlark colleague.
Yeah, it's
Evan
a brother
Turner.
now.
I know. I mean, listen, I'm excited that we have Evan Turner and Andre Iguodala. I am. They're doing it-
That doesn't sound like it.
Well, I am excited. That's
Backpedaling.
very cool.
The starting point on this, you muttered into a microphone, and I probably should explain some of this to the audience because they must be confused at the amount of content coming from different places. Meadowlark has made a deal with Andre Iguodala and Evan Turner to make stuff with them. And one of the first things they're going to do is they're going to do a podcast for us that we hope is different. It's Meadowlark. There's LeBatard and friends over here, Meadowlark, but we're all in the same team trying to do the same things. And we understand if you're sort of disoriented, how many podcasts are you expecting me to listen to? This is for a lot of different people as part of a lot of different partnerships. But Stugotz hit me with the objection that evidently Meadowlark Media is out here telling lies that Evan Turner is a former NBA star when he is not. He's an entertaining personality who played in the NBA, but he was not a star.
Let's ease up. That's all I'm saying. I am excited for Andre Iguodala. I would debate whether or not he's even an NBA star.
Billy, why are you laughing, Billy?
And I'm excited for this, Dan. I'm just saying, can we pump the brakes on Meadowlark saying 2 former NBA stars?
It sounds like you're excited about half of this.
What do you mean?
That's what it does sound like.
Just Iguodala?
Yeah.
I said I would debate you as to whether or not he's a former NBA star. He was with the Sixers. I'm not so certain with the Warriors, you know?
So what's the baseline for star then? If Andre Iguodala, who was an NBA All-Star and was a huge trade going from Philadelphia to Golden State, changed the balance of power in the Western Conference, if that's not a star, then what is a star?
Stu, he won a Finals MVP. Yeah. Like, how much star do you want?
Right. But he wasn't the reason they got to the finals or what. I mean,
he was the finals MVP. The voters of the NBA media determined he was the reason Golden State won the championship.
But talking about him like he's a role player.
Yeah. Listen, I love Iggy. I've already put a call in. I'm trying to get him on.
How about Evan Turner?
Right. Well, hopefully Iggy will lead to Steph Curry. That's kind of what I'm thinking there. Maybe Klay Thompson, like something like that. Iggy's a fine player.
You don't think they've figured out that they're going to do that for themselves instead of for you? You don't think they're going to have Steph Curry on, or you think they're just going to give Steph Curry to you, this guy who just showed up and wants Steph Curry? Or do you think they're going to get their own guests the way Draymond and LeBron and all of these guys have figured out, well, wait, the content's ours. The content doesn't have to be shared anymore with the media. We can be our own media.
Right. So you're saying he can get those guys for himself. He doesn't need to get it from me. Yeah, but I'm going to ask anyway. It doesn't matter.
But what I'm saying is
but he wants my promotion.
No, but he's now competing with you for your audience.
He is?
Yes.
He is not a former star.
All of us are now in the same, we're all swimming around in the same trough here. And I'm guessing, I haven't talked to him, but I'm guessing Iguodala's thinking about what am I going to do with the rest of my career that isn't about basketball. He's got a friend in Evan Turner. They're friends. They have chemistry.
Couple of former stars cutting it up.
Can we make knuckleheads? Can we use the power of I Am Athlete to get more? The barber shop. I'll get my own celebrity
just
in
the
here.
shop, Dan. That's a fine.
I'll stop giving it. Is it a fine?
Yeah, it's $5.
Man.
Yeah,
I got what you meant, though, Dan.
Yeah.
Fair
I almost did the
We
old
all
man thing. I had to
understood,
Google it. The new company that Andre Iguodala and Evan Turner are forming is called New Amendment. I almost called it The New Amendment, which would have been very old man of me, but I Googled just to make sure. New Amendment with Andre Iguodala and Evan Turner is the name of the company. Point Forward is the name of the new podcast.
Ooh, that's
which
a
we're
good
launching
name.
very soon.
Yes, very good.
Are they married to that name? I mean,
What, you want the name?
that's not better.
5.
I feel like every basketball-related pun has to have been used for a podcast by now. There can't be a basketball-related name that is still available. There just can't be.
Like Run the Point? Is that available?
I'm sure all of them have been taken.
On the block.
In the post.
Left-handed hook shot has to be the name of a basketball podcast.
There is no way.
In the paint.
Heat check.
Defensive 3 seconds. Has to be there has to be a podcast called Defensive 3 Seconds.
I'm looking it up.
Inbound.
I think that if it's not, we should have it on the show, and it's just 3 seconds of one of us being defensive.
Or like seriously breaking down defense and they were cut off after 3 seconds.
How about a podcast called Overrated?
Not a bad idea.
Horrible, yeah,
So
not
we're
bad.
just breaking down things that are overrated. What's
Well,
the content there? You just have a name.
Iggy and Turner. I mean,
Oh, come
Goodness
on, man.
me.
Jeez.
Dude, God.
I mean,
listen,
come on.
they might be great broadcasters. I hope that they are. We're all on the same team. Listen, we're all on the same team.
All evidence to the contrary in this
Yes,
segment.
it really is. You're a bad
Well, they've
teammate.
never said anything positive about stupidity.
That's true.
That is true. That is
Exactly.
true.
Put a plug
Yes.
on stupidity.
Just saying.
I'm
Yeah.
sure if they were handed a promo for Stupidity, you would they wouldn't go, "Who's this Stugotz guy? Why am I reading this?" No, you're supposed to give full-throated support of your teammates.
That is
Hell
not
yeah.
what has happened. And Stugotz just realized as we are talking about this, I do think this just dawned on him. Oh, wait, Iggy and Turner are going to get Steph Curry, and I'm not.
Yep.
I think that was an illumination that just arrived, but all of these guys are figuring out, Stugotz, and we'll see who survives and who doesn't, because Lord knows the podcast field is really, really overcrowded. But I've heard these guys interact, and it's a funny interaction, and I hope that they talk about things that are complicated and difficult to talk about. Andre Iguodala has really grown up, right? You go from leader of an 8 seed to a champion. I love that the guy that we're getting into business with here is on the wrong end of the most historic block in the history of the NBA Finals. I love that symbolically, Andre Iguodala, our biggest sports star.
I mean, you're piling on, Dan.
I love that that's the guy, though, the guy that was on the wrong side of LeBron getting blocked. But the thing that I wanted to talk with you about, Billy, is I know so much of the audience here, Stugotz, just so much of the audience is tired of not just the player empowerment talk, but player empowerment. But as I see us headed to the day where LeBron becomes a player owner, maybe, who is drafting his own son because these guys want in the big corridors now as baseball fights over the money. What you saw yesterday with Aaron Rodgers, he's in charge now. He's in charge of the Packers. He made a mess, and he just paid himself the highest salary, and he'll figure out the salary cap after that. But look who's in charge of the Packers, and they take the noise of, as I'm coming in today, the question, immediate question: is Jordan Love the worst draft pick ever? Was the question I saw on the graphic of Max and Keyshawn and J. Will, and they're asking, is that the worst pick ever? Is it if what you get with that pick, which is what they're getting, is 6 years of Aaron Rodgers at an MVP level because he's pissed off and you have to give him the organization? You lose the pick. You don't get Aaron Rodgers the help he deserves with a wide receiver. But the result is Aaron Rodgers gets pissed off. He says, why am I not Brady? Why am I not LeBron? Why is this sports salary cap? As baseball's owners fight with the players, Stugotz, over the money. Because baseball's union has caved the last 2 times, and the coverage is different now, Stugotz. Young people are writing about this stuff. So in baseball, the coverage is like, why is that old guy making fun of Scherzer showing up in a Porsche when all of these billionaires cash out like Jeffrey Lurie and they make $1 billion? Like, why are we making fun of Scherzer showing up for negotiations in a Porsche? There's a whole different climate. Young people voices in media. You should read something. It's in the Washington Post yesterday.
I'll think about it.
Ben Strauss wrote about it, but how the coverage of baseball negotiations have changed. And when I talk to you about empowerment, I just ask you to realize, as the bloviator who used to be at ESPN because he talked about the social, societal, historical, big stuff in sports, Aaron Rodgers just took over the Packers the way that LeBron took over the Lakers and now bumps against management on his way out to probably become a player owner somewhere else. Probably he might do both. Like what is to say that he doesn't try to become at 42 owner, player, drafting his son? What is keeping LeBron James from trying to be not just an owner, but an owner while he still has the power of the player? Because within the system, the only way to do it now is the way Tom Brady did, the way Aaron Rodgers. You either get along with the organization, but Rodgers just took his over. They lose to him. Like, he'll bump against it, but now they must listen to him. Now
but they also won, Dan. I mean, he's staying in Green Bay, the best quarterback in the game.
But he used the power. Right. They don't pay him in money anymore, Stugotz. I know you objected to the dollar amounts yesterday on Rodgers. Stafford's going to make $45 million a year. They don't pay him in money.
Right.
You got to pay him in power. Is Rodgers only $5 million better than Stafford?
No, he's a lot better than Matthew Stafford. I'm okay with the money, and I think Aaron Rodgers should be running that organization. Just be careful if you're the Green Bay Packers with giving him too much power. Look at where the Lakers are right now. LeBron, with that power, Dan, doesn't want Buddy Hield. He wants Carmelo Anthony.
I'm not going to say he's going to win with the power, Stugotz. All I'm telling you is he's got it.
Right.
My point is, and the whole system will buck against it. Oh, you're just like it's doing to LeBron. LeBron, you built it. But he'll just bail. It's the Lakers. It's not the Kings. He's been running the Lakers, and at the end, ooh, my bad. I'm out the side door. You're still stuck with the Lakers. Let me see if I can go fix this somewhere else because I was actually running the franchise.
Under the current NBA CBA, you can't be a player and an owner. So until that's,
Well, maybe he'll change it.
Well, it's 2024. It expires, but you can't do that presently. So,
And also, like, I do think that LeBron would have to still represent playing value for that to be a worthwhile transaction, because you have to remember most NBA franchises, like, the starting price is $1.5 billion. So unless LeBron is willing to front some serious money to actually join an ownership group, and you mentioned, like, kind of the value that owners have in their assets. I heard in the coverage in the aftermath of the Russell Wilson trade that the Broncos selling price, they're for sale right now, is going to start with a 4.
Yeah, $4 billion.
$4 billion for the Broncos. A kind of, what would you call them, like between the 15th and the 20th most kind of relevant, interesting, valuable franchise. $4 billion for the Broncos.
I also heard, and this was funny, as Kanye and Antonio Brown go into business together, Stugotz, in brand management, those two guys, some of the distortions that happen when you give power to guys who want power, and next thing you know, Antonio Brown and Kanye are not only teaming up, but Antonio Brown is telling everybody, as the head of Kanye's sports division, I don't even know what that means, but Antonio Brown is linked up with Kanye and is doing something sports related with Kanye. What are you shaking your head about, Roy?
That can't be good.
What is this idea?
It's not just this. No, wait. And in their venture together, Antonio Brown has said that Kanye wants to buy the Broncos.
I'm sure the NFL
well, so do I.
Owners. I'm sure the NFL owners would be more than happy to have an ownership group of Antonio Brown and Kanye West.
Of course not. That'll never happen in our lifetimes. But I bring up the frame of reference just so you understand. But all of these owners might be just fine with LeBron having a team in his early 40s.
Oh, for sure. I think he is on his way towards NBA ownership. I'm just saying, like, the player-owner thing, I don't know how he is going to get there in terms of owning a team or being a part owner of a team without putting up a substantial amount of money. Because as much as, like,
A-Rod is in the game.
Dwayne Wade did it.
A-Rod's in the game.
Wouldn't you want LeBron as part of your organization?
Don't you need just a partner, Whitty? You just need one. You need one of these venture capitalists to be a guy who wants to golf with you, like Wade. Like, you just need one of these guys who got rich on Bitcoin and somehow gets into the club.
You have, I mean, like, LeBron James is a 1% owner of Fenway Sports Group, which is probably an incredible investment for him, given the success that they've had with the Boston Red Sox and with Liverpool Football Club. But I just, like, it, I don't see how an owner is going to go 50-50 or not do, like, kind of the Jeter thing where you get a percentage, but it's a small percentage and you've got to do work. Like, if LeBron, which I imagine he doesn't want to be a small part of an ownership group, he wants to be either the owner or one of the principal owners. That's hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars you'd have to put up.
Can you tell me what the valuation just was on his media side project? Because I think you underestimate his ability to make large dollars on the side just because he owns so much of his stuff outside of the NBA.
I think it was valued at like $900 million, almost $1 billion for him. But this is also something we've seen with the Nets, right? Where Jay-Z came in, Mikhail Provorov was actually the owner, and Jay-Z was here like, hey, I'm the owner too. And it was like, well, are you, or do you just have a small percentage? He's just the face of it,
No,
right?
but this is not minority owner. I'm not talking about that, guys. I'm talking about, this dude has been calling himself the king since he's 16 years old. He's running basketball since we've been watching it, and the most famous athlete in sports at a time that he's leading all other athletes to recognize your power. He's going to be an owner, like, really soon, because he's already running the NBA, and already Silver works for him. All of these people have been, as Phil Jackson bucks against it with Posse, and Pat Riley bucks against it organizationally, and the goddamn Lakers, who are nostalgia by Adam McKay on HBO right now. The Lakers are bent to his will to the degree that an organization will bend to a young black man and his group of businesses. They've taken that to the very extremes and been fought, and they're going to get what they want. Like they are right now. CAA and the Knicks have realized, well, we can't do it unless the players are AAU on our side. And Clutch is over here with the Lakers. Let's just go Westbrook. If we screw it up, we'll just go somewhere else in a year. Like if it doesn't work for Westbrook, ooh, bad collateral damage. Hey, sorry, Anthony, gotta go. Got a $1 billion media company to run.
Spring Hill Entertainment, or Spring Hill Company, which is the name of his media company, is worth $725 million. I think we all think he's going to be an owner, Dan. The guys are just trying to tell you it's a very hard club to crack. Like it's hard to just. Even for LeBron James, it's hard to just get in there and be like, I'm the majority owner of an NBA team.
Guys, but being skeptical about this is, of course. Yes, of course. Why do you think? Look at the black guy that does get in the room. Yes, of course. It's Jordan and LeBron. Like, yes, of course. It's a tough crowd. Yes, it'll never be Kanye. And yes, Stugotz, yes. Ownership is a tough nut to crack, and it's mostly white people, and all of the problems you've heard me yell about for 20. Like, what are you talking about?
Yes. I mean, the guys were just trying to explain that to you. I was helping them out.
You think Evan Turner could get LeBron on the podcast?
Yeah. Well. By the way, the Hookshot podcast is taken. Left-handed Hookshot still available.
Ooh, how about Skyhook?
Wow.
Ooh, the Skyhook. No, that's gotta be left for Kareem's.
That's gotta be trademarked.
Let me check it out.
Yeah, Kareem's got to have that. If Kareem doesn't have a podcast called the Skyhook, then why even
Snooze
bother?
you lose, Kareem.
Yeah. Mid range.
There is a Skyhook podcast.
Really?
Yeah, it's not Kareem's though.
Not Kareem's?
Heady play.
What?
Right. If Kareem ever wants to do a podcast, he has to go buy it from them.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
I own it.
Just by saying it, you haven't done. You don't know how to get a domain name or log onto the internet. You own it by just saying it.
I own the name, Dan. I trademarked it. Copyright.
That's right.
You've been searching the internet for unused. Now that you see that,
everyone wants to get into the game, and I am searching for unused names in the event that someone like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wants to do a podcast. You know,
that's a pretty good one. Let's see what else we can find, dig up here for Stugotz as he goes and grabs as he tries to sell back to athletes names that they had not considered. Is Purple People Eaters something that is owned by Bud Grant?
Oh, I gotta check that out.
Or Jim Marshall.
Oh my God, I hope so.
The Purple People Eaters is not the podcast demographic. It is the cable access demographic. Local television on a Saturday at 11:30 opposite Meet the Press.
There's a Purple People Eater podcast.
What? Wow. Get out of here.
Damn.
Somewhere in Duluth.
Again, the podcast market is it's a bit oversaturated. Is there a single sports phrase that we can give right now that isn't owned by Stugotz or someone like him?
Stugotz has to be incredibly jealous of the Slate sports podcast, which is called Hang Up and Listen. Which is a tremendous name for a sports podcast.
Fantastic.
There's a butt fumble podcast also.
Damn it.
Yeah.
How about the Steel Curtain?
Has to be a
Really?
You can do a different one that is run by you and just talks to Ponzi schemers and is STEAL.
Steel Curtain.
I don't get it.
We can think of all sorts of podcasts here with just shitty sports nicknames.
Seriously, is there anything in basketball that doesn't in the restricted area, off the glass? We have off the looking glass.
Yeah.
We have off the looking. We have off the glass. That's different. It's a variation of off the glass,
but it's a variation because it's a funhouse mirror and it's not just basketball and sports. It's what we aspire to here at Meadowlark with people like NBA legend Evan Turner.
By the way, I will genuinely object to Stugotz's point about the star thing because like TMZ, for instance, whenever they write about anything sports, they include the word star in the headline to try and get more people interested.
I understand what it is Meadowlark was doing. I get it.
Yeah.
I get these guys are teammates. I want them to have a great podcast, not as great as mine, but have a great podcast, okay? I'm just saying, can we ease up on former NBA stars? That's all I'm asking.
And I'm also with Stugotz.
Wonderful guys, I'm sure.
I'm also with Stugotz on this part of it. I like Andre Iguodala. I love that Meadowlark has gone into business with him. Everybody at the Heat raves about him as a person, and I think people understand listening to this. Andre Iguodala is somebody that other guys in the NBA think like he's to be respected.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a star either.
Careful.
What?
Wow.
I don't think of Andre Iguodala as a star. I think of him as somebody, and I don't know. You made me think about it because I thought can you be a Finals MVP and not be a star? Is it possible to be a Finals MVP and not be a star? And I think my answer would be yes, and it would largely reside on Andre Iguodala because of how surprising it is to have that guy be a Finals MVP when you know that if he's your best player with Drew Holiday, you're an 8 seed, a 7 seed with the Sixers, and if he's your 4th or 5th best player, or Lamar Odom type, is Lamar Odom a star? Well, I guess Lamar Odom is, but was Lamar Odom a star as a player? He's a 3rd or 4th or 5th best player on a championship team. And that will make you, because it's usually 3 guys, right? We don't usually get to star on the 4th and the 5th guy. The famous Showtime Lakers. What do you think? The famous Showtime Lakers. Norm Nixon and Michael Cooper. It's the 3 guys.
Yeah, not all-time greats, not NBA greats. No one says Michael Cooper. Coop is a former
but
NBA
How
great.
often is the 4th guy a star? In basketball, give me all the names in history. Give me you've got all of basketball.
Is Draymond a star? When Kevin Durant was there, is
Yes.
Draymond considered to be a star?
Yes.
That would be
Draymond-
one,
Yes,
I guess.
that is one.
Right?
Yes. That's,
On what basis, Dan? Like,
but he wouldn't have been if Durant hadn't got he wouldn't have been
He would have been
4th.
3,
He
right.
wouldn't have that team was so overwhelming, at least in part because they had a star 4th player.
Which is exactly why they didn't need Durant. Durant didn't need to go there. But we digress. Anyway, let's keep going here.
It was Jordan, Pippen, Rodman. There was no 4th. You don't get, even on those teams.
Harper was not a star.
You don't get to be a star.
So if we did a podcast with former NBA player Ron Harper, what designator would you put in the press release? Former NBA glue guy Ron Harper?
Champion.
Oh, champion. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
That's all.
we could do that with Iguodala. He's a champion.
3 times.
3-time champion.
I don't see the Magic Johnson podcast, Stugotz, if you want to squat
No
on
way.
that one.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
I'm on it.
You got to squat on it.
And that's what he would call it. I mean,
we have to do and only say the most obvious things on it. We should absolutely start, and the first episode should be 3 defensive seconds. just somebody, Billy being defensive for 3 seconds. This is the original. You guys better get that domain name locked up now. Someone's going to steal it from you.
on it.
The Magic Johnson spoof podcast.
Can't believe you agree with me on Iguodala. It's amazing. Because I was just joking.
Welcome to the company, Andre.